In this episode of the Spiral Up podcast, you are going to be introduced to one of my favorite clients, the silly, sarcastic, super brilliant nurse practitioner, Molly, who's going to talk to us about how essential oils have essentially given her her lifeboat during a very stressful time in her life and all the wins that have come along after that. So I cannot wait for you to meet Molly and hear all of her wisdom, her fun jokes, and personality that shine through, and just to really realize how amazing the people I surround myself with are. And I can't wait for you to get inside. Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme. And as I mentioned, you guys are going to get a chance to meet my client, my friend, Molly King. You guys, this woman is amazing. She cracks me up every time we're together. She raises my vibration for sure. And Molly, I'm just so stinking excited that you're here and that I get to share you with the world. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to get to be here.
I know. So Molly is like one of those, really cool, come to fruition situations because we had never met. We somehow got connected on Facebook. I don't even know like who friended who, right? And we connected and corresponded over years. You became a part of my book club years ago when my book came out, and we got to know each other a little bit closer then. And it was really when you decided to say yes to the Becoming Experience retreat in the Dominican Republic about a year ago, actually. And we started working together more closely within the Spiral Up program. And your life is completely different. And it's funny because like I joke around like there's a life before the retreat and a life after, but like your situation is like holy crap. And God obviously had that plan this whole time. It just happened to be that was when things really started to move for you. But why don't you tell us a little bit about that really cool shift that happened after I guess the Becoming Experience
Mm,
retreat as a
yeah.
time changer, I guess, for you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was like, yeah. I mean, the Dominican was incredible and like such a cool wild ride, such a cool place to be. I've traveled a ton in my before life. I've been to a lot of different parts of the world and had never been to the Dominican, so that was super super fun. And in the ways that you craft that week, it really like opened up so many ideas and so many options and so many like okay, this is possible. Like I can like make a massive shift in my life in a really short amount of time. I'd already been on like a process prior to the becoming retreat. Um, so so I had a foster license to to be a foster parent of humans. Always feel like I have to like clarify that it's of humans because I'm a big dog person as well, but fostering humans. But I had never opened my bed. It just like I never got the sort of the nudge from God that it was time.
Oh,
It was just kind of that like hold, like just like everything's ready to go, but we're just gonna wait for a second, just take a beat. And so I um, did had a like just an intense, crazy, super fun summer. Spent my birthday with Taylor Swift at the Eras tour in Europe, and kind of all of these crazy things that like sort of knowing what was on the like on the horizon. I was like, let's just kind of do this stuff now, because who knows what the future holds. And so yeah, we got back from the retreat. I want to say it was like Sunday, October
Yes, it was like
4th,
late
5th,
Sunday
something
night.
like that. Late at night, yeah. I think I got back at, like, midnight 30 something,
Yes.
late. And then that Tuesday, I really, like, I got the nudge, like, it's time. So I opened my bed at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning and, got my first call for a placement at 9:30 that morning, which was just, like, I knew it would be fast, but, like, even that was just like, "Whoa," like, I don't even know that I had, like, put on a bra yet at that point of the day, but, like, it was done. So, that placement didn't end up working out, which, God is good and it all is perfect in his timing, and so I, was like, "Okay, that's fine." Proceeded to get a different phone call every day, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, um, for a different infant needing placement. Those first 3 infants, for various reasons, didn't work. Other families were chosen, other placements were found, et cetera, totally fine. And then I got a call about, my little guy on Friday saying his feeding tube just came out, he's in the NICU. If he eats everything in the next 24 hours, you can take him home. Does this sound like a good fit for
No,
you?
like, no, give people some context here because there's a reason that you had this idea, like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
maybe be a foster mom of
yeah.
humans,
Uh,
but my lifestyle is not exactly, like, easy street for, like, taking
right.
a human, especially one in the
Yeah.
NICU. So tell us
Yeah.
what you did really, Molly.
Okay. So I am a pediatric nurse practitioner. I've been in nursing or I've been in nursing for over 20 years now, and I've been a nurse practitioner for 15. And pretty much I work in the cardiac intensive care unit, which is, as intense as it sounds. Lots of highs, lots of lows, lots of just like insanity. Um, and I really enjoy that job. Typically, usually, there's always an asterisk there.
Yeah,
It's just
demand
hard work.
yeah,
Yeah,
demanding
it's
emotionally, demanding intellectually, demanding, like, time-wise, like, your shifts are
mhm.
long. Your
Yeah,
shifts are,
mhm.
the babies in the, the
Mhm.
cardiac ICU don't say, "Oh, it's 7 o'clock, so I'll see you tomorrow." Like,
Yeah,
somebody has to be there, right?
right.
And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're doing this on your own.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I am single. Yeah, so we do 24-hour coverage. So yeah, I work nights, weekends, days, like all the things. And so yeah, I mean, a lot of my coworkers, a lot of the nurse practitioners and physicians that I work with, like, have families and, they like figure it out and all of that. And they have spouses and, it takes a village to raise a child. We've heard that for, probably 20 plus years at this point. But it's a lot easier when your village lives in your house. And so it was just, yeah, so it just, I knew, quote unquote, knew what I was getting myself into, and also knew that there was going to be a lot that I was going to have to figure out on the fly,
Yeah.
which works out great because it turns out that's what I do professionally, in a lot of ways. Like, oh, well, that didn't go as we thought it was going to go. We were going to, okay, cool. So now we adapt and we adjust. And so I think that has been, even though like flexibility is not my super strong suit, I can adapt and I can like bob and weave with the best of them to things that come up. And that has basically been what we've been doing with, with baby Maddox ever since then. So,
It's so cool. So Molly opened it up to me, like, her heart before the retreat. And I don't wanna say, Molly, like, I wanna be really clear that the retreat was just a timeline stamp in this space. Like, so
mhm,
God was doing all of this stuff within you, like,
yeah,
before and after, right?
yeah,
But it was just really cool to see so much happen in such a short period of time. So you'd opened your heart to
absolutely.
me a week before the retreat, and you're like, "Hey, this is a crazy thing I got going on in my heart, but, I'm kind of about it, like, for obvious reasons, right?" And
Mhm,
we went to the retreat and just like all of us, right? God opens up our hearts and he gives us ideas of what he has in store for us and how he can equip us and how we can manifest it. And here we are, like we get home Sunday night, Monday morning, and Tuesday you decide to open your bed. And by Friday you have Maddox, who is a little guy from the NICU, bringing him home as a new single mom. And why don't you share, because I want this to be like the really fun, cool, happy ending in as of now, but like, are you able to share like officially anything else that
Yeah, I can. So the whether or not I can like physically do it without like melting down is a different question. But yes, so he's still in foster care, has been in foster care this whole time. I am his foster mother, have been since he was 12 days old. Um, Going through all of the processes that that comes with this, with being in foster care. There's lots of visits, lots of ups and downs, I think those of us who've paid any attention, like if you know of anybody that's been involved in the foster care system, there's highs and lows. It's a roller coaster. So I went into it knowing that it was a roller coaster, like cerebrally. I knew that it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Riding that roller coaster in my heart, and is like a totally different thing. And so we've had lots of highs, lots of lows, and it's just been it's been a whirlwind, and we are, as of this morning, we officially have a date for his adoption hearing, where we get to change his name. He'll keep Maddox, but we'll get to add on to that, and get to officially, formally, and finally welcome him into my family.
Amazing. And I just so grateful that we all get to celebrate with you. And so any of you guys listening to this, who've actually been through the foster process, or been somebody who walked alongside of somebody, it has been the most emotional, gut-wrenching experience that I've walked through friends with, and the ups and downs that go along. And so, yeah, so as somebody who has walked alongside some very close friends during this foster process, to be able to and have the privilege to walk alongside you, like, it's heart-wrenching what people have to go through. And so, whether you've been through it or walked alongside of somebody, like, this is a really big emotional challenge, I guess. And so the reason that I wanted to bring that up, Molly, is because you just are unbelievably incredible in my eyes. And I know that you and I can be really sassy and sarcastic. Like, you're my sarcastic friend, you're my outlet. But if I had to be serious for just a moment, like, you just knocked my socks off. Like, and I'm trying not to get emotional because I just love you so much. And the thing is, you guys, that what you don't see when you see Molly posting her funny stuff on social or showing up in the ICU for these kids, is that she has had to go through so much crap in the last year since I've known you, right? Like, you're managing a very stressful job. You are navigating, not only bringing a newborn home without the 9 months to prepare yourself emotionally for that, like 3 days, 5 days, whatever. And then
24 hours. Yeah.
And with, needs, because his mom, maybe didn't take care of herself all that much when she was carrying him. And then on top of that, you had, because we're the sandwich generation, right? So you were dealing with, your dad got injured, and just dealing with the things that happen with our parents. Now we have new kids. And all along, like, what's so incredible about you is that you also were like, no, I really, really, really want to impact the world through essential oils. Like, your devotion towards wellness and your devotion towards helping people feel empowered to be able to live a better life has always been also something that you typically juggled, right? And I was like, so many people would be like, screw it. Like, I'm going to give myself permission to let my big butt, right? My big butt get in the way of, not time for me. But you're like, no, like teach me how to do this. Like I want to figure this out. And one of the things that I think it's really important to stress here, you guys, is that when Molly talks about her essential oils and the things that they can do, not only does she have the medical background that carries the weight. I mean, this woman is freaking brilliant, by the way. Not only do you have the medical background, but you have this life experience that it's not just cerebral, like you mentioned before. Like you have the heart and the experience and the real time in the trenches experiences of how you've had to use your different modalities to help you get through your stress, your overwhelm. How the hell do I manage my parents and my kid and my job and grow my business and all the things? But you do it and you freaking rock it and you do it with grace. And I know that it's because of the different modalities and the healthcare wellness tools, I guess, that you've utilized. And that's really been one of the things that has, in my mind, set you apart from the things that I see. I mean, it's easy for anybody to memorize a freaking brochure, right? Lavender helps with sleep,
Yeah.
Like, no, like for real. Like I haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah.
So this is what I did, and you're able to guide people by real life world experience paired with this brilliant cognitive intellectual mind that you have. And I know that this is a passion of yours. So why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe how you have used your essential oils to help you get through some of these trying times and how you love to help other people get better because of it.
Thank you. That is like, yeah, you're so generous with your words and your praise, and I mean that's one of the reasons I keep you around.
I mean, making myself.
Love it. But no, you're absolutely right. I think like I don't know. I was first introduced to essential oils probably 8 or 9 years ago. I like you was raised up in that like in our Western medical model, which is wonderful for what it does. And absolutely, if I need surgery, I would like anesthesia with that. I don't. I'm not here to like just like bite a stick while someone sets my leg. Like that's just not, no, thank you. Please anesthetize me. And with that, there's also some gaps within our system. And for me in my mental health, there were big gaps there. And so I was looking for a natural solution to support my mental health as I was kind of going through in a different stressful stage of my life. And I found my way to essential oils, and I found my way to some really powerful blends that at the time I didn't understand why they worked, but I was glad that they did. I was happy that I was no longer fantasizing about which SSRI I should start. Because that was a real fantasy that I would just like sit and think about. Like, I wonder which one I would be willing to take. And like absolutely zero shade to anyone who is taking an SSRI or anything, like zero.
Right.
That there are, I just wondered if there was a different option. And so for me, it worked really, really, really well. And so I think one of the things, when you're in the wellness space, right, like you start seeing and collecting all of these different modalities and these different tools that are going to help you and going to be the answer, right, to the problem. And so by the time we get to October of 2024, my like morning routine was like silly long, like a couple of hours, like on a good day. Like
I know, right? We were joking around. We're like, well, why don't these people have the coffee made for us? Like we were both, because you and I both have this like super long morning routine, and we're joking around. We'd be in our jammies, like making the coffee in the morning before anybody else is up.
Yeah, because it's 4:45. We got stuff to do, and we gotta LaChelle's got an agenda that starts at 7:30. So we got to this is a thing.
Congratulations.
And then I brought home a newborn, and 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 he, because of some of the stuff he was dealing with,
Yeah.
he never woke up to eat. So I had to always wake him up to eat. So every 3 hours on the dot, I'm waking up a baby to make sure that he's getting fed so that he doesn't get dehydrated and doesn't continue to lose weight and all the things. And so and he also, he wasn't a very good eater, so he was taking like 30 minutes to eat. So every 3 hours, I'm waking up about like 10 minutes before it's time to feed him so that I can get the bottle ready, get his diaper changed, do all of those things, feed the baby, sit there for 30 minutes, try really hard to stay awake for that 30 minutes so that I could keep him awake and that I wouldn't drop the baby, because it turns out that's really frowned upon. And so then by the time I got him back to bed, it was that whole process. I had been awake for an hour at that point. And
Mhm.
so then it's like, okay, hurry up and go to sleep, because you got to wake up again in another 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So for the first, I don't even know how long. Like I have like my memories of those early months are so scattered right now, because it was just like wartime, right?
Totally.
Um, and and so who's got time for a 2 hour plus morning routine when you've got to feed a baby every 3 hours who
And
doesn't
it's
think it's necessary to eat?
like when we build these routines in as
Mhm.
ways to support ourselves, but it's always fascinating because when shit hits the fan,
Yep.
we abort them as first things we
Yeah.
don't have time for that
Yeah.
when
That we
the
do.
thing that we actually need the most at that time.
Totally. Yeah. And so I think one of the things that I'm proud of a lot of things that I've done in the last year, because it's been a year, and I think that I have managed to I've had all the feels. Like I've cried all the big tears. I've laughed. I like all the things. Um and I've also learned how to be really gentle with myself, which is a skill that I have been needing for a long time. Um
And that's just it. Like many of us on here, myself included, right? You and I have had the chance to talk about this many times, is as high achievers,
mhm.
it's really hard to give ourselves grace.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so I just got super savage with my morning routine and with my wellness rituals. I basically took a hatchet to everything and was just okay, what works? What is
Mhm.
necessary? What works? Those things are going to stick. Everything else goes.
Yep.
And I got rid of a ton of stuff. The things that stayed are the things that I did see and still see value in.
Mhm.
Things like prayer,
Mhm.
um, things like, coffee.
Yep.
Need coffee. That is part that's Coffee is part of my wellness routine because I am a better human when I have coffee. Um, and we can talk about antioxidants and all that stuff, but, also, it's just good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, like, we're just doing the coffee. And there's a couple of when I'm getting ready in the morning and when I'm getting ready at night, I use there's a blend of essential oils called Balance that I use twice a day, and I have been using that blend for years, twice a day. It makes the biggest difference for me. It is something that is always on my person, always in my bag.
Mhm.
I have them stashed everywhere. Because it brings my anxiety level way, way down. And and that and I mean, this is not rocket surgery here, but we do I function better as a human and show up better as a
Mhm.
mom, nurse practitioner, daughter, sister, all of those things when I'm not swirling in anxiety.
Well,
Um,
that's like, we talked about this on the show, lately a lot because it's been something that I teach when I get up on stage is this neuroregulation and
mhm,
the heart brain coherence. And what happens is when we get in that fight or flight, there's a negative feedback loop that happens where there's static that goes from our heart to our brain. People don't realize there's a feedback loop that goes from our heart to our brain. And so when we're caught up in this anxiety energy, it actually creates a static message to our brain. And as you know, medically, like our blood flow to the part of our brain that creates good cognition is diverted because we're in fight or flight. So energetically and physiologically, we're not able to think, process, and be creative and calm brain wise when we're in that space. And so just using your balanced essential oil blend is going to get your heart coherence, your neural regulation back in balance. And now you have created therefore a good feedback loop where now we have this heart space that is calm and present and vibrating at love and joy and frequency, right? And now all of a sudden it's sending really clear messages to my brain, and my brain says, okay, I'm all right. And now there's a good feedback loop, right? And all of that started with your ability to utilize that blend to get yourself back in coherence.
Yeah.
And get your brain to start functioning better because you've gotten yourself calmed down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. It is. It's so cool. Yeah. And I think one of the other tools that has been instrumental is the foundational wellness of the green drink that I drink every day. That's called VMG plus. It is like, one, it's delicious, but two, it also fills in a ton of nutritional gaps that like I'm not trying to eat a perfect diet these days. Like I wasn't before I had a baby, and now it's even like I just like snacks
Yeah.
are great. Like I'm happy to like I actually cooked dinner last night, and that felt like such a giant win because it's really hard to do. But like what has been really helpful with so like my morning cocktail that I make has VMG, it has electrolytes, it has a probiotic, and it has collagen in it, and NMN, which is a precursor to ADH, which our cells need in order to metabolize efficiently and effectively. And so I just like, I mean, they're all kind of designed to be used individually, but I just like pour them all into one because it has to be simple.
Right.
And I've made it simple and it tastes delicious. So like, yes, please. And it's easy to not forget because it tastes good. And my body, the feedback that my body gives me on like when I take it is like, oh yeah, this I know that it's working. I know that it's doing something. Because for a long time, like I was like kind of a big like poo-pooer of supplements in general, because so many of them are really poorly metabolized and absorbed by our bodies. And so like I'm not an advocate for expensive feces and urine. I'm an advocate for what your body recognizes and metabolizes and uses. And so that's where I land.
And I'm just going to say, like, when it comes to supplementation, like, I will be the first to admit that I have not been like the super big consumer of them for the longest time because I didn't understand. Number one is our diets are not perfect. At least mine is not. Number two is even if I did eat exactly the way I'm supposed to, our food does not contain the nutritional value that it did 50 years ago, right? And so I didn't realize how much is lacking in our diet, even if I did everything right. And so it's like, oh, now that makes sense. And the thing is that I don't know, maybe you can relate to me, but I have a tendency sometimes to go balls to the walls on things. So it's like, it's either like nothing or it's like everything. And what I love about what you've done here is that you've created essentially what I would now consider my new philosophy is good, better, best, right? But you've been able to take the guesswork out of it because you've lived it and you have your medical background behind it. You're like, all right, here's the deal. If this is how much time you have, like this is going to get you started. And I can work with you on a good, better, best situation so that you can actually be compliant, that you can actually feel better, that it's efficient, smart, not harder, because you're not having to overthink it. You can just pour it all in one glass, for example, like you said, or use a blend that's a blend of different oils so that you're not having to play, sorcerer with all the different oils. that you have
And
going.
that can be fun too. It can be fun to craft your own blends,
Uh-huh.
and I do enjoy doing that, but also, like, I think honestly, like, doTERRA is so smart about how they craft their blends that it kind of feels redundant to me
Right.
to do it at
Yeah,
this point. So, yeah,
absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So, Molly, like, if there are people listening and they're like, I, just really relate to you. Like, I
Mm,
have a lot going on and life feels really hard sometimes. And
yeah.
taking care of myself is the last thing that I want to put on my plate.
Mm.
What do you want to say to that person who's listening?
Uh, I feel you, sister. I am assuming she's a sister. I, um, yeah, I think it is. I actually just asked this question like on my Instagram stories the other day, like, sandwich generation, how are we doing this? Like, what's working for you? Like what is like what are we doing? And two things really jumped out at me
Mhm.
in terms of like the feedback that I got, and also like what just like rang true in my soul.
Yeah.
You and I are both generators, so I'm
Yeah.
like anything that makes us say like,
Oh,
like
that's
that's where we
that's
land.
yeah.
So like the things that were like, ooh, yes. Um, One of them was outsource anything you can,
Mhm.
hire it out. So like, like house cleaning, yard work, all of that, which I'm
Mhm.
not great at outsourcing, but I'm getting better.
Mhm.
And then two, similar to what I did, last fall, take
Mhm.
a hatchet to anything that like isn't a must do that also feels good in
Mhm.
your body. And like, so like, I have removed so many things from my life that just like didn't fit anymore. And not in like a savage way, but just like this doesn't work anymore, so
Mhm.
it can't stay. The
Yeah.
things that have stayed that um are like I was kind of thinking about like what other things like sort of have have found their way in. This I still get pedicures,
Yeah.
because because it's 45 minutes
Mhm.
of like restoration and where I can't do anything else. I
Yeah.
just have to sit
Stuff.
there, and it's really like
Mhm.
that's been clutch to
Yeah.
keep that in place.
Yeah.
I think, those kinds of things, and it like I think one of the things that like when we talk about this kind of stuff and like like I've had so many people say like just make a list and write it all down, and my response in my head is always like, do you think I have time to sit down and make a list? Oh my gosh, like stop making me make lists. I've got so many things. Incidentally, I did make a list and it's incredibly long, and it was really rewarding to be like, oh, no wonder I feel like
No,
overwhelmed.
totally. Because it's like
Perfect.
swirling around in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and our imagination is actually worse than actually looking at it, because once I deal
Totally.
with it, then I
Yeah.
can do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Totally.
I want to bring this up before we wrap this up, because I think this
Yeah.
is also really important because
Mhm.
of just you living this and embodying everything that we're talking about.
Mhm.
So, you have a demanding life. You
Yeah.
have a now, almost one-year-old at home. Um,
Mhm.
you have a very stressful job. You are taking on lots of responsibilities with
Mhm.
your parents and people that you care about. And you're devoted to building this business. And I think that
Yeah.
one of the things that's been really standing out to me is that you make that happen. Number one is because you see the value, you see
Yeah.
what you can do for yourself and for
Mhm.
Maddox.
Mhm.
Number two is that you figured out systems that allow for other people who are listening to this to like, I would like to bring in more income, but I'm busy and overwhelmed. Well, shit, you're
Yep.
doing it, Molly, and you
Yep.
figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to tell us, number one, why are you doing this? Tell
Yeah.
us your why. Why in the heck are you adding this to your plate when you could have totally savaged cut this whole thing too?
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people in the past have said like, "This has got to go." Um, a few reasons. One, I love this company so much that like it it's it's a part of my life regardless of if I get paid to help others with it or
Mhm.
not.
Yep.
It's a big part of my life. Two, I love the impact that I envision with being able to support and walk alongside other, mostly women who are on this same path that I have been on,
Mhm.
because I have found how to make it work and how to feel better in the midst of perimenopause and child rearing and aging parents and like all of those things. Like it is possible to not feel like garbage 90% of the time. I
Yeah.
promise you.
So
Um,
you're figuring
and
all that out. You might as well
yeah,
get while you do it too. I
right.
mean, that because
Yeah,
what is that
absolutely.
additional income doing for you? Like, give me your big vision for that.
So my big vision is that that I get to roll back the work that I do at the hospital. I do love that work, but it's also, you know, probably not going to work for a long time. I've been doing it for a long time, and there's a shelf life to nights and weekends and all of that. Um, and the vision that I see is a lot more travel with Maddox, without me having to send 14 emails getting permission to leave the state,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
country.
yeah,
Um, I see me being able to support my parents as they continue to age, um, and just being available
yeah,
for them
yeah,
more.
yeah,
Um, in a you know, just in a way that's really supportive of them. Um, I see, like, you know, I see, um, like my broader supporting my broader team and the business partners that I get to work with that like I have this vision of like Maddox and I traveling around supporting our team and just helping them to flourish and fulfill their dreams. You know, and you know, whether if that's, you know, other, you know, adoptions for them or like whatever their particular
yeah,
vision is. I know, like for me, I don't have to worry about the financial implications of adoption. Like it's a different it's a different beast with foster care, but I think, you know, I've done a lot of international missions, and while that's not necessarily on the table right now, supporting those others, those that continue to go and serve and take care of the least of these is has, will always be on my heart. You know, I just think we are called to steward well, and that is, you know, that is first and foremost one of the ways that I want to show up in this world as a good
yeah.
steward of goodness
I
and
mean, that's the thing
love.
people don't realize is that without the margin, there is no mission, right?
Right.
And so
Mhm.
it's like when you've been able to bring in more income in a passive way, you have now created a margin for that mission. And that mission for you is what you beautifully just described. And the time and financial freedom that you have, both for you and Maddox, but also for the bigger impact that you want to make is so huge. And so I think that I'm hoping that this resonates for women and men out there who are like, I just feel like there's hope. That I feel like I'm stuck in this cyclone of crap with everything that's going on. But Molly, you made me feel like there's hope and that there's a bigger picture and there's a rainbow on the other end of that crap. And that you can walk alongside of me and show me how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's huge. So I mean, that's why I wanted you on. I mean, I love you and I want to spend time with you. That's why I wanted you on the show is I wanted people to hear from you. You're so freaking inspiring. Even though, you know, like it's hard to hear people talk about ourselves like that, but you know, like, you are royalty to me, sister.
Well, thank you. You are royalty to me. Yeah.
So and we can joke around about that because Molly actually is royalty in her hometown. She was the queen of her little town. I mean,
Princess. A
princess.
princess.
princess. And so,
Yeah.
but in all seriousness, though, if you guys listen to this, and if you have been inspired by Molly, not only just what can I do to feel better in the midst of my chaos, reach out to her. I know that you have some workshops that you give so you can teach people how to take back their wellness and their health and their vitality in a way that's good and aligned. You also are an amazing leader and have a wealth of knowledge and resources, and your heart for service is so paramount. So if you guys are like, this sounds like something I could do as a vehicle to make my mission be more likely to happen, like, I want you to reach out to Molly. So we're going to have all of her information in the show notes, and leave a review for this. Let us know like how this resonated with you. Let us know in stories, like tag us and things, or reach out to us, because we want to hear how this touched your heart. And it's more fun, isn't it, when we can interact with people?
Totally. It's so much more fun. Yeah. 100%.
All right. Anything else, girlfriend, that you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
I just think, just thank you so much for, being so succinct and just generous with your words and your time and your platform. And I'm so grateful for you. I think, I just to encourage, those who are, like you and I have been in the past, and some days still are, like, it don't drown in it. There are lots of us offering life preservers, and like, I think when you were talking about, like, at the other end of the rainbow, that has been, as my nursery is rainbow themed, and that is with intention, because of the promises that God gives us. And I think rainbows are a really wonderful reminder of God's promises. And so I just like to have rainbows all around.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, and just a warning, like, be careful when you want to manifest stuff, because stuff can happen really fast.
Really fast. Make sure you have the crib first.
Like, be prepared that you might manifest stuff really fast. So
yeah.
Guys, well, thanks for listening, and Molly, thanks for being on, and we cannot wait to just continue to watch you and be inspired by you, girl. So, all right, you guys, let us know what you thought of this episode, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough, or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.